Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely my pleasure to be here. When my friend Mukhtar Bakare called me, I was somewhere in the world, and I said to him, well, you never asked me for anything before. And even though I would only get back the day before, a bit exhausted, I promise you I would do this. So I'm here. I find what this is about in terms of the principle of it interesting and fascinating. I had the privilege of being the founding chair for FBN Life Insurance, which was a joint venture between First Bank of Nigeria and Sanlam, which then transited to become Sanlam as First Bank sold completely to Sanlam, and Sanlam and Alliance have joined together now to form what is Sanlam Alliance Insurance. So I did have a good foothold in helping to build the startup that was FBN Life. And like any other sector in the financial services industry, what is key is the integrity of the institution and the ability of the institution, especially in insurance, to keep its word to its clients. Insurance is an act of trust. It's a promise by one to the other. In one model is a shared risk. In another model is shared risk and shared return, which is the fundamental difference between the traditional and what the takaful represents. Now, the honest truth is, once you share any part of the risk, you should be able to share the reward too. Because in business principle, shared risk should result in a reward for the risk that you carry. But traditional was built on the model of winner takes it all. And therefore, that is the model, and that's how it's been from the Western world to how it's been introduced here. And whilst I'm a Christian, even though I was raised a Muslim, this isn't about religion. This is about integrity and values. And that's why I'm here. It's about the integrity of the model, but no matter what the integrity of the model is, it becomes about the integrity of the institution itself. It becomes about how those who have founded Noah Takaful, who have made the commitment and the pledge, no matter what the regulator says. Because as the regulator will tell you, the rules are always there, but it's always the choice of the institution to walk by the rules or walk around the rules. So it's a choice you make every day as an institution. They're guiding principles. There's no reason why any bank should fail if the rules are followed, because the guidelines are always clear. But at the end of the day, it's always about the people who have the responsibility of managing it. And the same goes for the regulator. I mean, obviously, the worst of what we've gone through in our financial services, especially the banking sector, has been regulator-related in the last short while. And once the regulator fails, the industry, there will be players that will align. And there will be rebels like us that will choose not to, and then we will get punished for choosing to do it differently. However, what is always right, no matter the cost. And the beauty of the Noah Takaful, well, the Takaful model, but Noah Takaful as an organization in itself, is that in the short term, in the little time, because when you think about like a First Bank of 131 years history, I will consider Noah Takaful a baby. In fact, a newborn, if we say that. But, you know what? age becomes irrelevant. It's a matter of who you show yourself to be. The values that you choose to live by, not the values you profess. Because words are cheap. Anybody can promise you anything. And you'd be a fool to just take the word of a man for it if the man has not shown you who he is. However, it's actually how the industry works. First, you trust their word. And then over time, you get to discover if their word is worth taking. But you have to take it first when you put your money in there, whatever kind of product you were dealing with. So the beauty of seeing a shared reward model in the financial services industry that is not about buying shares. This is about insuring with an institution, and in sharing your risk with them, you get rewarded at the end if there's benefit that comes from that. It's fundamentally different. It's essentially encouraging. It builds trust, and it helps institutions to gain trust with people as well. I'm trusting that as a nation, the model that Takaful offers helps us to reestablish the values that institutions can build on. There was a time and a season when there were things you could not imagine would come from corporate sector at all. There were guarantees you had by the word of institutions. There were practices you did not even expect to see. But a lot of things are falling apart in our society, and values have become secondary. We ourselves are responsible in many ways because we celebrate people for what they have, not who they are. And once we fell into that, we permitted and endorsed and allowed wrong things to be done in our name. And once we have permitted it, we ourselves suffer for it. Because every such action comes back home to roost for all of us. When the insurance industry works and it works well, then we're protected when we have issues. But if it doesn't, then we have a problem. And insurance is one part of it. It's a smaller part of the financial services sector. It's a sector that needs to grow exponentially because the market space is there. And maybe this is a model that will encourage more people to get. It's an open field. It's really, I was asking Mukhtar how many people you have signed on right now, and he gave me the numbers of about 20,000 people. So we're really at the early stage. We're just starting compared to what is available. And what I will challenge you to do is you really need to invest time in educating the public. You really need to share the model of what you do. You don't want to be just another insurance company, and you don't want the door to be shut on it just being called a religious insurance company. Because you're a corporate organization that's come out of a faith belief system. But that's the foundation of its values, but the institution is a corporate institution trying to build, but on certain fundamental principles. So you need to be able to effectively communicate that in a way that you attract as many more people to the model, because the model is attractive on its own and will cause a change, because people can trust a system that will reward them as well. As it's almost like having shares in a company by the kind of system that Takaful affords. And we do need to grow it. And then when you think about the population of Nigeria, you realize that we're just at the beginning. There's so much to do and a lot. And if that value system is then translated into other sectors of the economy, then the Takaful model would have been an instigator of re-engineering the value system with which our corporate operates. I want to congratulate the company for all the work done so far and for the values that has been created. And I want to congratulate the beneficiaries for making the investment, because if you're getting returns, then you made an investment. You didn't just invest in risk, you also invested in getting returns. And your risk is returning to you the reward. And you see, the beauty of it is, when you know you have a benefit, you're not going to go and forge insurance. You know, insurance fraud should be less. With Takaful, people are not pretending that something is destroyed when it's not. Because at the end of the day, they understand that if the company does well, without false claims and all of that, they themselves will be part of the benefactors of it. So in many ways, it helps to purify the system. And it's a model that we should look at for the value that it represents. So don't sell it just on religious basis. Because when you do that in a business, sometimes before people hear the value of it, they've locked the door just on the differences of faith. And as I asked Mukhtar as well, you have customers that are from every faith. But guess what? Most people won't immediately assume that. So it's about how we communicate what the product is, what the benefit is, what the model is, and what the impact is, especially in helping to build a more equitable society. Because what the Takaful model is a very equitable business model that allows each party to be rewarded for their part in it. Thank you very much for listening to me.